Welcome back to another episode of Softly Spoken, the first official episode in the TGM series, Tetris the Grandmaster. Today we're going to be playing some normal mode, and I've fixed up my 4042 controller so that I can switch my buttons on a dime, on an instant. I can just switch profiles. I'll show you that in a second. So let's hop in. There we go, that did work. So if we look at options, I actually haven't checked my controller settings. There was an update. There has been some cool stuff. Like, okay, my buttons are switched. That's fine. But like, look, oops. So I'm on Tetris the Grandmaster mode. You can see that I press down or up here and it triggers down. I press a button. I press that the button? Yeah. Now I press up and it's up. And same for this bottom button is now down. So I can switch that back. Whoop, and I'm now on Tetris the Grandmaster rotation mode. So that's very cool. I'm glad I got that all set up. That's gonna save a lot of headache. Yeah, without much ado, let's get into it, because I'm excited to have a serious crack at one of these modes. TGM normal mode. I kept calling this marathon during my first impressions because I did all the standard modes first. So normal is exclusive only to the TGM mode, whereas in standard, marathon is exclusive only to the standard mode. So that's why I got confused. So we're just going to do nice, simple games here. I feel like each episode I'll just try to stick to like our game mode. The reason being is it lets me get into the routine of it, like get into the right mindset, all that. Still slippery. So there's been confirmed a few bugs, like the instant dash swap is confirmed to be a bug, like when you're left right in a single frame or under a frame, which on keyboards and stuff is easy to do. The keyboard controls not being rebindable is considered a bug. There's apparently going to be a release out soon. It is not yet out as the time of recording, but by the time this video comes out, it is scheduled to be out. So keep an eye out for that, because I think that will that's going to make so many people so happy. And it's just like, as I was ranting about in my other video, I think it's a requirement. Like, it's an accessibility thing. Like, there are people who legitimately can't play this game without so much futzing about that non-technical people just aren't going to be able to do. Or at least shouldn't have to do, I should say. I shouldn't downplay non-technical people. But there are people who want to play this that just straight up don't have the understanding of computer usage to do that stuff. And they shouldn't be excluded. They should just be able to go in, set up their strange keybind that works for them, and have a happy little life. Yeah, so in this mode, we are just going for a bit of speed. Well, right now, I'm just sort of focusing a bit on consistency. Like, the main goal is going quick. As far as I know, there is still no knowledge of what's considered a Grandmaster ranking in this game. People have, like, been stripping the files, data mining, all that fun stuff. And I've completely forgotten I even have a hold button. But yeah. So, no one has achieved GM yet, which is surprising. I figured there was like a 50% shot someone had GM by the end of day one. I figure it's basically 100% by the end of the week that there will be a GM in TGM 4, but there's also suspicion that the TTC, the Tetris company, were really unhappy with the way it worked. Like, they are dead set convinced no one wants a hardcore version of Tetris. It's supposed to be purely family-friendly, casual, fun game. Like, they call it a lifestyle brand. I think Maya Rogers has called it, or maybe it was Alexei Pajitnov might have said that. It was one of them. Like, I get it. Tetris is kind of a household name. I understand why they want it, but far out. Just make multiple types of games. Not every Tetris game. Like, I like that they have sort of this casual fun modes. I think that is fun, and I don't have a hold button set up. You know what, we're just going to do this one holdless, and I'm going to go fix that up later, because I think I buggered that up when I was in my keybinds. That's no stress. We will just play without it. maybe it'll give us a fun little reward. So I did get a sneaky peek at some stuff over Discord and whatnot. I don't like Discord, but it's just currently where all the information is. And there are different skins you can unlock. And it seems to be in that Konoha mode where you do all clears to unlock women. I still don't know how I feel about that as a concept, but it is a fun mode. I don't know if there are any men. I think it is all women you unlock. Which, you know. You know. But, you know. I don't know what to say about that. It would have been nice to have some diversity. But, like, I was calling myself out for this in a video I just recorded. It's saying like too much. Trying not to do its... Okay, I cannot sneak that in there. Yeah. Like, it would have been nice to have that diversity, have some handsome men, etc. But here we are. It's the world we live in. Honestly, there are going to be mods that either add extra people to unlock or just, like, completely change them. I reckon there will be a husbando pack. I reckon... Maybe not a husbando pack, but I reckon within the first month, there's absolutely going to be like asset packs and stuff for this game. So you can play with custom skins, you can play with custom unlockable men, women, sprites, I guess they'd just be called. I reckon that'll happen. And I reckon it'll happen pretty quickly. I'm giving it a month just because, like, I don't know how hard it'll be. I don't know how awkward the data formats are. I don't know how clever the game engine itself is. Like, I suspect this is the original engine they built 16 odd years ago, spruced up a bit. Oh, goodness. Which is why they're having so many issues with things like control, inputs and whatnot. Apparently, it's really dodgy, and I suspect it is just the legacy code base. Like, you have to deal with them in this industry. It sucks, but you can make it work. But yeah, it clearly was designed as an arcade game only. And it has been retroactively patched to be a PC game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it is what it is. I feel like they can clean it up and make it nice. And all these issues, like, I think the game has pretty unfairly gotten a really shonky rating on Steam. I think it's, yeah, it could be better. Like, I think mixed is pretty fair, but it was, like, negative at one point. I'm like, that's a bit shit. Especially since they've come out and said, we are going to address these issues. We are doing things to fix it. Maybe I have a soft spot for this company because they've created a series of games I love, but I like to think I'm being relatively unbiased here. Like, the game is in a playable state So, even if it's not up to the point where, like, Grandmaster is a reasonable request, just to, like, some of the control issues. Like, I was watching some of the top players playing it, and they were griping about similar things I was, like weird rotation issues, random DAS, random changes. Like, the game will just suddenly feel different briefly, like for a piece or two, and like when you're playing it, the level this game demands of you, like for the really high tier stuff, like I've been watching people push 1300 plus in master mode, which is insanity. I am so far away from being anywhere near good enough to be able to pull off stuff like that. Like, I am not being held back by this game's control scheme. I can tell you that for free. I am not a good enough player to be so held back. Oh, my head's itchy. That I am being held back by the current issues plaguing the game. I'm just not. Whoops. Like that, I'd like to blame the game on that one, but that was just me being bad. Sadly, that was just a Sean special. But yeah, after this we will fix up our hold key, because I don't know what I did there. I clearly unbound it somehow, or bound it to something weird, although I couldn't, every button on the game didn't do it, so I don't know. Because there's no mode that doesn't have hold, I have just unbound it. Or rebound it to something weird or whatever. We'll find out what dumb thing I've done in a minute. This run does not look long for this world. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, I'm alive, okay. So I think this game is more generous with how high up the board you can be before you actually get taken out. Like, that was a 655 game. I'm not disappointed with it. 0 or 5. Interesting. Interesting. So people are saying the AER spelling of UR is deliberate. It's absolute I rank. But just then, I swear it said, oops, UR, ARE. But maybe it's because I was playing this mode. Hold. Ah. I had goofed it up. So there was a button I could have pressed. Okay. So, hold is now that button. Yep, cool. X. Yeah, hold is hold. Extra is extra. Backstep is backstep. Everything is good. Right. Let's try that again. This time with a hold button. I'm surprised how long I played without realizing I didn't even have hold. My tea is nowhere near cool enough, is it? No, that's burning my fingies. Right. Oop. Gosh. Starting a new game of TGM, it's always like straight off the... Whoop. See, there, I feel like that wasn't me. That held the DAS in the wrong direction. DAS, for those that don't know, is delayed auto shift. So, it's the setting where... What is it? How do... I'm going to get better at explaining these things, so I'm going to play these games a lot. So, you're going to have to... Sorry, but I am going to be a bit awkward in the beginning. So, delayed auto shift is how long do I have to hold left and or right before it'll start shifting the piece automatically. So, like, if I just wanted to move it across one, I'm not triggering DAS. If I wanted to move it many, that's triggering DAS. And there's also things like auto repeat rate, which is how fast does the piece move once it is moving. I don't know if that gets messed with in this game or not, but it is something like Tetris, which is an online block stacking game which bears an uncanny resemblance to Tetris. Just, oops, I pressed all the wrong buttons there. In there, if you clear 4 lines at once, you get what's called a quad, which is quite cool. Very, very interesting game mechanic. Never before seen anywhere. We can do a tuck here. I don't know if that was actually beneficial, but we could do it. There, it felt like it preserved DAS on me. No, I held when I had a different piece than I thought. That one's on me. I'm still impressed I actually got an invisible clear on this mode on my first attempt in my first impressions video. I did not expect, especially because I thought I was playing a different mode. Like, it's very funny to me. So these recording videos, size, big. It was 18 gigabytes of raw footage for a bit over an hour of my first impressions video. So, and it was a gigabyte once all processed, edited, cut down to I think like 58 minutes or 104 minutes or something. It was around that mark. Oops. There, it felt like it didn't accept my inputs. Oh, well, actually, oh, panicked. Absolute fool panic. And yeah, so I definitely am, like, thankfully I'm on top of like clearing out. So the way I do all of my video editing, just for some context, is I record on Windows. I play all my games on Windows. It's where Amorec TV is, so I can play, record my Switch, which obviously I'm just playing this on Steam. I do have this working on Linux, which is what I boot into for all my video editing and my day-to-day stuff, etc. I basically do just have Windows for games at this point. But yeah. So, I'm very good about moving... So I record just to my desktop on Windows, and I move the raw videos across to my Linux desktop. Playing terribly. Very quickly, like, as soon as I'm done, I usually reboot, or like that night when I reboot for whatever. I'll just move it across then, so it's off of my desktop. It's in a second place, so if something goes wrong, it's less scary. But yeah, like... And then I edited all that stuff, and I still haven't cleared out any of my raw videos yet. So I've got the edited down one, I've got the Kden Live file, and I have the rendered X265 video. And then obviously it's uploaded on YouTube, it's uploaded to my PeerTube, etc. Whoops, that was gunk. So yeah. But with how big these file sizes are, I'm very quickly going to have to start pruning back my archived videos. Which doesn't scare me, I'm a hoarder of data. Like, normally the data I hoard is code, kilobytes, right? It's all in Git, etc, etc. And that's easy. I haven't been bit by that. I have decades worth of code, and it's like, it's not even a gig. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to have to be more stringent with that. I also need to back up my, like, I guess they're master copy files, whatever you call them. I don't like this. I've not played this well, but it's cleaned up fine, so we forgive ourselves. That was terrible, Sean. What was that? We don't forgive ourselves for that. That was the wrong piece. But yeah, so I'm going to have to start clearing out, which means I want some level of backup. Like, I'm a paranoid man, especially when it comes to data. Like, I know I'm going to have to clear out it eventually. Like, I could start buying up disks, get a couple terabyte, but like, I also don't want to spend money. I'm a cheapskate, you know? Yeah. No! I wanted to get a T-spin there because I think it's funny. Oh, I screwed up my inputs. That's right. And these are the things that I'm just going to have to get used to in this game. Like, in some of the modes where you actually have extra buttons, like in the Oscar mode, you have the back step, so you can actually go back back infinite amounts of pieces. But because it's a timed mode, the time just keeps ticking down, and you have to wait a bit. It's quite punishing to use, but it lets you have a really clean stack. And you kind of need it, because you need to meet certain requirements and stuff. I still don't fully grok it all, but I know you need a certain amount of Tetrises per 100 levels, which I think is bare minimum 1, probably. So if you get to like 99 of your level, you can't go up a level until you clear a Tetris. And that's caught me out a bunch of times in my practice. I've been playing offline, having some fun with it, exploring the game. But yeah. So it lets you play super cleanly. And I think it's a good training tool. Like, I think all of the really high level runs obviously won't use this. In marathon settings, they will. Because, like, oop, there's that word again. Because they want that safety, that security. They need to be able to perform on a moment's notice. Like, people that do marathons of TGM games, bonkers to me. The fact that AGDQ has had such a high success rate of GM runs, I want to say it's almost suspicious, but I know the players are literally just that good. I genuinely don't believe they're cheating or anything. I don't think they're suspicious. I have not said that in genuine earnest. They are just darn good players. But yeah, like, it just blows my mind that they've been able to perform so well on stage. Like, unfamiliar environment, unfamiliar setup, performing one of the hardest games, in my opinion, to play at a level like that. Like, whew. I shouldn't say that. I don't think that's true. I'm sure there are incredibly hard, like, even if a game isn't hard, the level those speedrunners take it to makes it hard, especially in such an environment. And on obscure consoles and all that fun stuff, oh, I froze thinking there for a second. Where are we at? We're at 650. I need to, like, internalize keeping an eye on my levels as well. Like, I do want to, like, the Absolute Plus, the online leaderboard for all Tetris the Grandmaster games, hasn't opened up the submissions for the new game yet. I think they're just sort of... Honestly, I think no one knows how the scoring works still. I think that's why they haven't done it. They don't have... That should have gone to the right. They don't have a concrete enough idea about how to actually really rank people and score them, so they can't open it up. Because I thought it was weird, like... Oh, there's that word again. They have all of the code sitting there, like... Oh, there's that word again. I'm going to keep calling myself out on it, because I want to use like and and less. But I'm not going to kick myself for the ums and ers. I will just try to do better. Like, oh, there's that word again. I am playing hard games. I am doing quite a lot all at once, and I'm messing it up, apparently. But yeah, I was like, surely they have all the code. It's not like this is super exciting and requires much new development, if any. Like, oh, there's that word again. Yeah, so I was surprised that they've waited so many days. I'm like, yeah, I think that was a genuine use of the word. Like, I was like, what the heck? What's going on? But in retrospect, I get it. Caught myself before I said it that time. I was so close to saying it. I wanted to put that on the other side. That's okay. We forgive ourselves those mistakes. Donk, donk, donk. Yeah, this is cleaning up pretty nice. Tuck that under there. Yeah, I do hope my keyboard controller thing isn't too clicky. I mean, I'll be honest, I find that sound quite cathartic, but not everyone will, and that is kind of why I also do multiple streams of games. Like, I never really want to have more than 2 streams of games going at once, unless... I don't see this ever happening, but if this became a more important part of my life, if, like, I started... Well, I'm never going to earn money from it. Like, I deliberately will never earn money from it. That's not what I want out of this series, these videos. I'm not here to turn a buck. I am here to create videos that help people rest, help people sleep. Like, there's that word again. But that is why I put effort and my own money into hosting a PeerTube instance. So people who can't afford YouTube Premium or don't want to support Alphabet or what have you, have a place to watch it. Because I think that's... If you're falling asleep to something, it feels so insidious to me that there could just be ads being beamed into your brain. That's... I'm going to use this word, and I try not to use it often. It is disgusting. Like, it is genuinely filthy. Like, that's got to be having long-term effects on people's brains. There's no way advertisers don't know people fall asleep to certain types of videos and put in... They would absolutely put in the research into how to best... oh goodness, I didn't want to quite do that. How best to subliminally affect someone who's watching the video either asleep or in like a hazy daze. Like, there's no way that research hasn't been done. No way in hell. Oh, and here comes the credit roll. 1106. You know what? I'll take it. I'm going to focus for this because, as you can see, this isn't easy. So sorry for the silence. You just get the banging music. It turns out I'm talking anyway. Oh no, I rotated that. Ah. I did this backwards. Oh, that was a clear. You know what? I have done it. I'm happy enough with that performance. Woo! That takes a lot of mental stamina. That's a hard one. But it's good fun. I like that I can play some level of Invisible Tetris. 1 of 10. Okay. So, and yeah, they do use ARE, not AER. So it's not absolute I rank like people were prophesizing. So, the way they think this works is 1 is the lowest rank. 10 of 10 is... So it's not like a leaderboard. You're 1 of 10. You're the top player. It's... You have scored 1 out of 10 on your test. Like, you've finished the test, but you did poorly. So 10 out of 10. I think there's one recorded rating of a 9 out of 10 so far. But it is still very unknown how all this works. Which is exciting. It is fun to be on the precipice of all this stuff. I've been trying to stay across it. I haven't checked this morning. It's been 12 odd hours since I was paying any level of attention to the community, but as far as I know, there's still no knowledge of that, despite all the data mining going on. But I'll check it after this, and we'll have a play. I should keep music going, so let's play. Whew, let's do that again. That was good fun. Definitely can play better than... Oh, thought I had locked that in. Apparently not. Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like, here I have to use my left thumb for locking stuff in, which is what I'm not supposed to be doing. Well, so not locking stuff in, for placing stuff down. Like, left thumb, and it's not locked in yet. Left thumb, not locked in yet. Because that's the sonic drop. which is one of the big differences between the standard rotation and the TGM rotation, is that it does it that way. So you have that sonic drop to get the piece down as fast as possible. And you can do like little tucks and stuff. Like when I have a chance to do a tuck, I'll show you. Whoop. But they call it like a Zangi move or something, something like that. Because you can my words are running away from me. That invisible Tetris took my brain power. It sapped my brain. My words have failed me. So they call it a Zangi move because, from what I understand, I am not a Street Fighter player. He has a combo or a move, an input you need to put in to do a move, where it requires like a half turn of the stick or a 3/4 turn of the stick. So you have to press up a direction and then down. So you got to roll the stick around, and it feels like, and you are doing that motion. It doesn't feel like you are actually doing that motion when you're doing these tucks. I don't even know if I'm going to get an example of one. I could fabricate one. Give me a second. I want to see how okay. That one, so that there I think was an invalid slide, like the dash triggered when it shouldn't have. Oh no. So yeah, like that. So if I had pressed down, that would have been a Zangief move, because I'd like, oh, there's that word again. I had to get across past it, press down, and then come back in under it, because there was an overhang. So things, an example of that would be like, it's not even a T-spin, you wouldn't do it for a T-spin. It's just when you need to get under, like tuck under. Maybe editing Sean. I don't know if this is asking too much of the poor lad. Oh no, oh no. Oh, I've goofed this up. Maybe editing Sean can insert a video or like a GIF or something showing off this move, because I know the TGM guide website has nice imagery. Whether or not I'm legally allowed to use that, I don't know. I obviously won't do it if I'm not. But if I am, I will. Otherwise, you know what? You might get a Sean special. Maybe he'll animate something. That seems unlikely. I don't know anything about that. Hang on. So, yeah, there. That was another tuck. Like, boop, boop, boop. But if I weren't already on such a fast speed, I'd have to press down. That was wrong, brain. Yeah, and at this point, I sort of switched to not using the sonic drop anymore, because the pieces are quick enough. I'm not going for, like, insano times. I'm not really pushing the limits of what I'm capable of. Which, you know, that's fine. Not every game has to be an attempt at the highest score, fastest play ever. I'm here to have fun, record some nice videos, and just chill a bit, you know? So, yeah. I will see if I can knock up a little, because something I found really interesting when I was editing my last video is, as you can see on the right hand side of this game, there is just nothing. Lots and lots of nothing. I've considered, so some people who stream this game will, that's not what I wanted, will only share the half of the game that has you playing on it. So they share just the left-hand playing field. And that gives them more room for camera, for stats. What I was thinking was setting up a cool little overlay. Basically that just showcases my current personal best. Because Koryan was doing something like this. Not as slick as what I'd like to do, but it was exactly the same premise. Where he's got all his personal best listed on the right hand side of the screen, which obviously isn't being used because it's just an empty board saying, please press a button, which, you know, you could probably live without seeing constantly. And that way, it would be an interesting little microcosm of Sean's personal bests. I thought about making a cool little tool for it, and obviously my brain started designing software because it's what it does. It's really annoying that it's like, let's just take on a whole new project. What could go wrong? And this is with me medicated. Nearly said that word again. But yeah, like I might actually do it because I feel like it's genuinely a knockout in an afternoon prototype type project. And I do love those. They give me an excuse to like try out new tech. I've been wanting to build a Golang web server based something. I just feel like it's the next step in what I want to learn. Because, so, time for a programming rant, I suppose. I love programming. I love Ruby. It's a pain in the dick if you want to share a Ruby program to someone who isn't a developer. There's a few options, but basically it boils down to they all suck because you kind of need to just have Ruby installed, the right version of Ruby installed. You have to have it set up so that it can install the libraries with your level of permission, or you need to run the libraries as your root user, like super user, admin, whatever you want to call it. And that's just a security nightmare. Don't do that. Please never ever run gem install or bundle install as your root user. I will personally come to your house and slap you. That's a promise. But Golang, it's a compiled language. You write all your code, you type go build, and you can even specify cross compilation, which is super slick and super easy. That's honestly, it's my favorite feature of Golang. Is it the ease of cross-compilation. As someone who spent a long time building a game engine that's cross-platform, you have no idea how much that's my white whale. I've even started writing a massive blog post about my gripes with programming and the fact that it's just such a nightmare landscape. But I've gotten off topic. So, the reason I want Golang is because you can create a .exe, and you can just send it to someone. All they have to do is double-click it. And then your thing is running on their machine. I just think that's beautiful. That's so magic. And I know, we've had this power for decades, right? C exists, you can write platform-independent C, but I'm going to be honest, I hate writing C. I think the C and C++ ecosystems are actively bad. I think they're problematic. Like, I like the languages. I genuinely think the languages are decent. They need a stronger standard lib for text, is sort of the main gripe I have with them. Like, C++ at least has standard string. I genuinely don't know how good that is in the grand scheme of things, but I know it does exist, and it hopefully people use it, and it minimizes bugs. Because boy howdy, strings introduce a lot of bugs in code. Like, whenever you hear about like a buffer overflow or something, 99% of the time it's because someone wrote a bad bit of text and sent it to your program, and that bad bit of text was misread by your computer, by your program, not your computer, not shifting blame, and that basically allows them to do crazy junk and break your program and get access to your machine, yada yada yada. That's a very rough, high level overview. Don't take it verbatim. Don't submit this to your university lectures, etc. But, so, Golang solves a lot of that because it just has an incredibly powerful standard library that even includes being able to build and run a web server. And I think I just think that's beautiful. But genuinely, I do think that's amazing. I think that's fantastic because it's a lot how Ruby works. Ruby is I love Ruby so much because it has such a powerful standard library. You can write so much code. You can get away with doing so much before you even have to bring in one library. And I just think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. And Ruby, the language itself, is really, really nice to write. It's easy to test. Or if you write it that way, it is. And you can write really crazy code if you want. You can write really clean, nice code if you want. Sometimes you need to mix both. Like, I was so excited at work the other day. This is a little nerdgasm moment. I got to, with genuine purpose, use meta programming in Ruby. I got to write code that writes code. It feels so good getting to do crazy stuff like that. And the guy I was pairing with was like, there's that word again. It is a senior as well. So when I started laying down what I wanted to do, he's like, yeah, this is a good idea. Because it genuinely solved our problem. And it was like an elegant solution. If I was with a junior, I still would have been able to do it, but I wouldn't have had like my own personal hype man as we wrote it. And that means a lot to me. Like, I work with some I really like the people I work with. I work with some excellent, really friendly, really nice people. One of my favorite things about where I work is we actually have... So, one of my big gripes with the software industry is there's a lack of women. There's like bugger all women in programming. I said, there are a chunk of women in programming, but the balance is not there, obviously. But where I work, I nearly said the name of it, we actually have... It's the best ratio of women to men in a development team I've ever seen. And that's fantastic. It can still be better. I'm not saying we're perfect, but it's good. Oh, shoot. And I love that. Like, that's fantastic. I love getting to work with women. It's so nice. They have genuinely different life experiences. They bring a lot to the table. And I feel like people don't credit that enough. Oh, good. Okay. Oh no. Oh, no. Yeah. This is not great. I feel like I might pass this one. We'll see. Sorry, this is genuinely hard. I need focus mode. Like, I am actually really pleased with how well I play this, considering I've never trained Invisible Tetris. Like, I have never sat there and purposefully played this mode. I want to. I think this is a great party gimmick. Like, I think it's hilarious being able to play Invisible Tetris to any level. Like, I don't know why I find it so funny. It just is to me. But as I was saying, 0 of 10. I did worse than last game. Much worse. I felt like I was scrambling through a lot of that game. I didn't hit Tetris requirements and stuff. But yeah, as I was saying, working with women is just... It is a different experience. Like, not in a bad or a good... Well, I believe it's in a good way. I think diversity is important. I'll always have that opinion. It's insane to think diversity doesn't breed a better culture, a better product. I really do believe it does. Like, I deliberately came to this workplace not because they have more women than usual. I actually didn't know that when I was applying. But because they work in such an interesting way. Like, I knew even if I didn't last at this job, I knew I was going to get a lot of really... Okay, that's kind of a Zangi there. I had to go out, press... Yeah. Out, down, up. Yeah, that's the movement. Out, down, up. But yeah, as I say, it sounded insane how they work. So, I don't know how much you know about software development, but where I used to work, we did pull requests, fortnightly release cycle, feature branches. Pardon me. And that is how we maintained our high level of quality of code and produce our features. I had issues with some of the way we worked. I think we could have had much higher quality, but I don't think it was due to our engineering process. I think that was more of a management issue. Anyways, the place I work at now that I applied for, they do full-time pair programming. So whenever you're writing code, basically, you're pairing. So you and another person are watching the one editor, one person is coding, the other... So we call it a driver and navigator. So you're always working with someone. It's also fully remote. I don't work in the state I live. So that... Whoop, I was worried about that initially. Oh, I thought I could tuck that. Because I wasn't sure how well I would go... A, with pairing all day. I knew it was going to be extremely tiring. And B, being remote, having had experience remote work here during the pandemic and all that. Back when people were taking COVID seriously, I should say. It's not like it ever disappeared. People are just ignoring it harder. But yeah, I did do some. work from home. And I enjoyed it, but I definitely found motivation really hard to come by. And, you know, I'd twiddle my thumbs, I'd be a bit lazy some days. I just found it a lot harder than being in an office to focus. And it wasn't because I think an office is a better environment for thinking. Lord, no. It sure as shit ain't. It was because of the people. I missed being around other developers. And pair programming full-time gives me that. So I'm always chatting to someone. I'm rarely alone. I occasionally, very rarely do you do like independent work. But yeah, I've found even doing that, I'm significantly better. But I think being medicated for the ADHD may have been a pretty major factor there. I found I work significantly better since then. Goodness. But yeah. So that wasn't the only thing. They do what's known as trunk-based development. So they don't use feature branches. They write all of their code on main, or at the time it was called master. We have actually switched our branching to be called main when all of that sort of happened. When Git, I think we did it basically when Git was like, this is just the default now. And that upset a lot of people. Goodness, we won't get into that. I don't really, it doesn't affect me one iota. I'm happy to use main. It's less characters. It's easier to say. Sounds less like I'm you know, in a certain type of club. But yeah. So that was fascinating because that's actually a very radical thing to do. So we push unfinished features onto the main branch. I nearly called it master. Thinking about it has made me fall back into my old habits. I don't like that. We push straight to main, and the way we get away with it is we make aggressive use of feature toggles, which is something I was pushing for ages at my last job. I think, well, that's a bit of a lie, actually. I never pushed for it, but I was always really curious to try it out. It sounded like a really good way to not have really long-lived feature branches, which get rebase issues, which are harder to code review, etc. Yeah, I really wanted to try that out, and it turns out it works really well. I love it. And the last thing that really drew me to them is that they do test-driven development. So they write their tests of how the code should work before they actually write the code. And it sounds a bit silly, like, and sometimes it can feel a bit silly, like, oh, there's that word again. And we also make, so one of the things that I think makes it work is we make heavy use of what's called like it's acceptance testing. So we actually open up a browser. Our code opens up a browser and it clicks around in our application and does stuff the exact same way. Well, as close as possible to how an end user really would, because an end user will never be able to click as fast. There are very tiny discrepancies and differences, yada, 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 technical mumbo jumbo. But we start with those tests and we work our way down. So the very first thing you do when you're working on a feature is, well, the very, very first thing you do is actually get an understanding of what needs to happen, what an end user will expect, all that stuff. So you do a little bit of legwork. Occasionally you'll write some test code, like spike code, that you're going to throw away to figure out how you'll approach it. But essentially the very first thing you do is you write a test of how the user will actually use this feature. And that's really, really powerful, it turns out. Because the first thing you're doing, the very first thing you're doing is going, right, how do people want to use this? How are end users actually going to click this thing, interact with it? And I've found that that's really helped my way of framing problems. Like understanding, oh, I thought that was flipped. Understanding problems, and I believe it's helped me write better features. Whew, that was a big rant, but yeah. I love where I work. I think it's a fantastic place. There's some decisions recently I haven't been chuffed with, but I'm also not quiet about it. I do voice my opinions because I know I'm in a position where I know my position is safe. I'm not going to be reprimanded for having a differing opinion, and I know people will take it seriously. And I suspect other people do have similar feelings to me, and I think it's nice to show people that, yeah, it's okay to have a differing opinion. I'm obviously very polite, very respectful. I do things properly. I'm not just like, oh, that's a shit idea. What the fuck are you doing that for? I'll be like, Oh yeah, I'm very curious about this approach. I was wondering if we could maybe XYZ instead. I feel like it might be better for, you know, reasons QYP. And they'll be like, oh yeah, we did consider that, but we ended up going with this reason because of... And, you know, you have a very genuine discussion about it. No one walks away feeling like, oh, what the hell was that about? Does he hate me? Etc. Like, it's very nice working with people who act like adults. I guess that's the crux of it. We deliberately hire people who act like adults. And that makes a world of difference. Oh, yeah, I'm ranting and raving. I might make this my last game. I'm feeling like this is a good wrapping up point. We've been going 45 odd minutes. My disc isn't that full, so it should be okay. I try not to make episodes too long. We've still got a few minutes before then anyway. Yeah. Good little rant about software development and what I like about it. But yeah, as I was saying, I do want to learn Golang. I think that's a really... I'm a little iffy that it's owned by Alphabet. I don't love that, but it generally is a good language. Or it feels like it's a genuinely good language. I haven't gotten deep enough into it to know whether or not I actually feel that way. The way it does error handling is weird. The way it does testing is weird. It's very strict in some cases. I suspect it's going to be a tool in my toolbox that isn't for... No tool is for everything, that's a silly thing. But like... I think it's a tool that will live in my toolbox and prove itself useful many times in my life. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a good compiled language. I've looked... Like, my white whale of programming is good cross-platform, including web, including consoles. Desktop development. Games, applications, a consistent UI over all of that. And I hate that, honestly. I genuinely believe Electron does it best. And that's a horrifying thing to say. Don't tell anyone. No, I don't. People know I feel this. I really do feel like Electron currently does it the best, despite the fact it's really the wrong way to be doing it. It feels... Well, I'm not even convinced that's true. Like, So, at the end of the day, you're always going to have to write your own abstraction that is ported to every platform. There's no two ways around it. Every platform is not going to adhere to one way of working. So you just have to develop that way. I think that's what Electron gets right. It uses HTML and JavaScript, which I don't think is the right tool for the job. It's just the one currently being used because it makes porting the web applications easier. Oh, ooh, nearly messed myself up there. But yeah, so I think those things are great. And I feel like Sublime did an excellent job of building this toolset, and then just kind of like Sublime is a text editor that was quite popular before VS Code was really big. I want to say like 8-9 years back, maybe 10. It was really big. It was like the de facto editor in the Ruby and Rails land, at least. It's what every new developer was recommended. It basically had the stranglehold VS Code has now. Except it's not free, it's not open source, you have to buy a license. But you could perpetually not have a license. It was like modern Windows. I think that's kind of funny. Oh, this is my best time. Yeah, hang on. I push myself a little. I think I can get... Can I get a sub 11? Come on. Okay, I'm thinking too hard. I'm screwing myself. Sub 11. Yeah, 1046. Alright. Invisible Tetris. Probably not the best way to end a video, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to try too hard. I don't care. But yeah, so I feel like there is so much room for something like that to come along and conquer the market. Something efficient. Because I feel like HTML and CSS is... It's the wrong tool for the job because it wasn't designed to be a tool for this job. Like, it just wasn't. And I feel like shoehorning in tools is always going to be the worst... worst way of doing it. Like, that's not a controversial opinion. I feel like that's just common sense. Gosh, I'm doing terribly. But yeah, I'm keen to see what that technology is. I don't know when we will see it. I don't think it's right around the corner. I think too many people are too invested in Electron for it to really lose its stranglehold on the industry. Okay, we have survived. Oh, I said that maybe too soon. Woo, okay, we have survived. Oh, hang on. I'll show you my score before that happens. I'll put on background noise as I say goodbye, because I don't like that it goes silent. You are 1 of 10. We got another 1 of 10, a 10.46.35. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright. Just leave that in the background so we have some noise. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're well rested and maybe asleep at this point. If not, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.